I'm ready. Welcome. This is coping with COVID in the new normal, coping with fires and smoke and election stress and changes in the weather and everything else that might be happening. Sponsored by Mono County through Mono County Behavioral Health. If you go to Mono County Behavioral Health's Facebook page, you can look at us live on Facebook Live, leave comments there, or go into the Q&A box here on this Zoom meeting and add your questions and comments. We love interaction. Maybe we're not coping so well anymore because our team is shrinking. What the heck? Where are the people? All right, we got some great folks here tonight. We're going to talk about just how we're doing and how we plan to take care of how we're going to keep strong and keep doing as well as we can as we move into more COVID, into the fall, deal with the fires, everything else that's going on. There's a lot of stressors happening for people right now. Got some parents on here, got some non-parents on here, bakers, non-bakers, eaters of baking goods. Who wants to start tonight? How you doing? How's it going? How are you getting through the day, the week? Are you making plans? What are you thinking about the holidays?
Oh, goodness. I can't even think about the holidays yet. They were making suggestions on the news. Keep it to small groups. And we usually, for Thanksgiving, we're here and we take in orphans, people that don't have family here. I don't know if we're going to do that this year. It's going to be a bummer to not do that because I really like, I like to cook. I like to bake. I like to do the whole Thanksgiving from tip to tail. Stay out of my kitchen. Don't bother me. Go away and do everything and put on the whole big show. But I don't know if that's going to happen this year. So there's that. And I haven't baked anything in 2 weeks because last time I baked was that carrot cake thing, which was delicious, by the way, which my sister said that sounded disgusting. But it was actually quite delicious. I haven't had time. It's crazy all the not coping I have.
Yeah. So when you're not coping, you don't bake?
I would if I had time. I wasn't home for over a week. So I haven't, I guess I could have baked at my dad's house. I did. It was very, so remember 2 weeks ago, we talked about the text messaging group that we had to keep in contact with my dad? Totally worked in that he answered the first 3 days and then didn't answer for 2 days, which made us go, that's weird. He's not answering. And he's not answering his phone and he's not answering his landline. And I too have a landline. I am a dinosaur. So I sent the police to his house and it turned out that he'd been down for 2 days. So he's in the hospital.
It's a lot, Ingrid. It's a lot. The distance of having to take care of parents and loved ones from afar and having it happen during these times when it's hard to leave. You have responsibilities of a job. You have to go somewhere else. Is it safe to go? All of that. It's a lot to deal with. We'll get back to you in a minute.
And turned out he's not even in the hospital anymore. He was there for a week, which was amazing. He was at a really good hospital. But with COVID, to visit, you get one visitor for 1 hour a day, which, when you're 84 and you wake up, you've been asleep for 4 days and you don't know what happened to you. You've had a surgery. You've got a pacemaker now. You're like, where are my kids? And the nurse is like, well, only one of them could come. They can only be here for an hour. He totally called them out on that. But that's stupid. Why can't they be here? If they're already here for an hour, why can't they stay all day? What difference does it make? He's got a good point. So he's home now and we're working through that. It's just, it's a lot. And then that stupid fire that I can see the smoke from, it was a beautiful clear day, but it's blowing up. So Sierra National Forest is doing a Facebook Live on that tonight. So that's where I'm going after this one. I'm not part of that meeting. I just want to watch it and hear what they're going to say. Because it's getting pretty gnarly.
Is it?
So, yeah, it is. Yeah, Lauren's nodding. It's, if you could see, if you go up to Minaret Vista and look, there's this huge pyrocumulus cloud, like it was the day after the fire came out, or 2 days.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's found some stuff to feed itself. It's eating fuel.
Oh, wow. I know that for those of us down here in the southern part of the county, that the smoke has been really ridiculously bad. And then I think what I'm learning is you can tell when the fire is blowing up because there's more ash. Like it's not just smoke kind of that's hanging around, which is a drag all by itself, but then you get like this thick smoke, plus you have more ash. We have more ash here, and that of course isn't good to breathe either. It's so oppressive, just so oppressive.
It really is.
Yeah. How are the rest of you doing?
Yeah, now that I've unpacked all my baggage on you. That's not even half of my baggage. So I'm going to eat some pizza.
That looks so good right now.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I got some more baggage for us up here in North County. You know, I think this week we dealt with a lot of like rumors spreading about a COVID outbreak out here.
Yeah.
So, you know, being up in North County, I've always felt like, oh, we're in a little bubble, you know, and we hadn't had any cases up here. I mean, as far as I know, they still have been all in Bridgeport, but still that's not too far from us up here in Antelope Valley. But yeah, that was a scare, you know, especially with us having to send our kids to school. And, you know, there were some rumors going around, but it was nice that the superintendent kind of sent out a blast message and, you know, put those rumors to rest and, you know, just reassured us that our kids were safe and there were no positive cases, you know, that they were aware of, and they would notify us if anything came about. But that was definitely just scary knowing that it's getting closer to home. And then, I'm going to try a new coping strategy. I'm going to get into candle making. So I gotta, you know, I'm like, okay, that's enough of the baking, and the weight gain. So, you know, the holidays are coming, right? So I'm like, well, what can I make, right? And
great
still
idea.
ship them to people, give them to people, right? And they won't be so freaked out about taking them. And so I'm going to try candle making. I'll let you guys know how it goes next time.
That's a
Wow.
really good idea.
How'd you get into it?
Late night on Pinterest. I love candles, and you know, I'm always on Pinterest every night looking for, you know, for stuff to do. And so today I finally ordered my stuff. So I'm going all natural soy candles, right? I want to do the whole organic thing. And yeah, I've been doing some reading on it, so we'll see how it turns out. I was at first I was really aggressive, and I'm like, oh, I want to do, you know, bar soaps and everything. But then after reading a little bit more about soap making, that's a little bit more, I don't know, it's a little bit more toxic because you got to deal with chemicals and stuff. So anyways, candle making seems a lot easier. So I'll let you guys know.
Definitely.
I'll send you my address.
Yeah.
I told my daughter, your teacher's gonna be my first little guinea pig. I'm gonna make her one for Halloween and send it to her and see how she likes it, and let me know how your teacher likes the candles. So yeah, if it turns out.
How is school going up there?
I'm sorry, what's that?
How is school going up there?
Oh, it's going really well. She loves it. I mean, yeah, my daughter's she really needed that interaction with the other kids and, you know, running around. And she was lucky enough to get into the after school program. And so this week was her first week at the after school program. And she actually requested that I pick her up later. She didn't want to be picked up early. So she's loving it. She's loving it. And then they get snacks. So of course she loves it over there.
Stephanie, when you decided that it was making candles would help you cope, because you and I are in many ways on the opposite ends of a spectrum, and that would not help me cope at all to do a craft. So what is it about it that you feel like it's going to add to your coping strategies?
Oh, I'm a crafter. I love making crafts. And I just haven't had the opportunity to since we were moving and, you know, getting all settled in. And so I think finally just slowing things down, it just gives me something to focus on, you know. And I think for the candle making is just trying something new, right?
Mm-hmm.
Something that I'm going to experiment with. And then the fact that, you know, you can make all these different scents. So I don't know. It sounds like a great plan, but you know, I think that's how most ideas on Pinterest are.
They look good as ideas.
They do. And then, you know, some are a hit, some are a miss, but
We have a question and answer box. It looks like a Q and an A on your Zoom, or you can certainly add something as a comment in the comment section of the Facebook Live. God, my hair is wild today. And we would love to hear from you. This is a community conversation. You can do so anonymously or just check in with us. How are you doing out there? How are you coping? What are you looking forward to? What are you feeling worried about? This is what we're doing here, is just trying to keep our community strong through connection. Lauren or Justin, how are you guys doing?
I'm hanging in there. 2020 is just like, you know, a comedy movie now. Like, what else could go wrong?
Yeah, kind of.
I think that's a coping mechanism too. Like, just finding the humor in it. Like, it's gonna be okay. There's not a whole lot I can do to control it. Things I'm looking forward to. I'm not really sure what to do with my kids for Halloween. It's my oldest favorite holiday. She talks about it for 11 months of the year.
Oh dear.
Yeah, so we're trying to set some expectations there. We're not like huge into candy, but we're really into the social aspect.
Yeah.
Trying to balance out what's best for and safest for my family, and still fun and enjoyable, like an alternative way to celebrate it. I don't know if anyone has any ideas, but that is something. I haven't thought about Thanksgiving or Christmas. That's like, I don't know what tomorrow's going to bring, so that's way too far in the future now.
Yeah.
I found out I had childcare for a little bit, but I found out that it's going to end for my oldest like mid-November. So I got to figure that out. I don't know what our schools are going to do. And I knew that was kind of going to happen. Like, got to take it day by day now. Tomorrow can bring a whole new thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of the process, right? Is keeping up with all of the changes that you have no control over. Like, is it going to open? Is it not going to open? If it opens, will it get shut down? And then what you're talking about is, how do you figure out what your risks are? And
Tomorrow can bring
what
a whole new
risks
thing.
you're going to take.
Right. And I think like my kids are just like way over it. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
so
you know, we decided we're actually this year we're gonna dress up with the kids, right? Because we're not, I don't think, yeah, we're not doing the trick-or-treating thing. So we're like, well, let's join him and let's dress up with him, and we'll have like a little mini Halloween party for them here. So I actually ran down to like the dollar store and picked up a bunch of like Halloween decorations. And so, yeah, my daughter's super excited. Like, oh, we're going to dress up, and, you know, so that should be, I don't know, I guess substituting for the trick-or-treating.
yeah, that's a good idea. I actually saw some really great Halloween like meal ideas on Pinterest that looked doable. I'm not a big crafter.
It's just so disappointing, Lauren, because you're right. It's like this is one of your kids' biggest holidays, and it finally falls on a Saturday, and it's like a big, you know, we do the same thing. We usually host a big party at our house with the neighborhood, and then go trick-or-treating with a bunch of people around the neighborhood itself, and didn't know really how to handle it this year. So we just planned to be out of town. We're going to go out of town for the weekend and not dress up. And we just told the kids we'd buy them candy, and we'd figure out whatever this town that we're going to, what they're doing, and see what's up there. But trying to kind of get away from it because we didn't even know how things were going to play out here, which is unfortunate, you know?
Where you
All
go?
the different variations.
Yeah.
So you're going to dress up and do what, Stephanie? Like walk around your house?
No, I went on Pinterest and I found all these like little like treats, Halloween treats that you can make. So we're gonna eat. That's what we love to do. We love to eat. So Yeah, no, I mean, I already downloaded the Halloween station on my Pandora list. So yeah, we're gonna have like Halloween music and stuff. But I figured I'd do like a little photo shoot. Like that's another thing, right? Through packing my stuff, I found my camera, and yeah, I'm like, you know what? I haven't taken pictures in a long time, so we're gonna do a little mini photo shoot.
Fabulous. I hope you'll share it with us.
Yeah, yeah, I'll bring photos.
So if you just
Yeah,
happen to, go ahead.
I was gonna say my kids are Chucky and Chucky's Bride, so that's the theme this year.
Ooh. So some gruesome stuff.
They've never even watched a Chucky movie, but you know.
Not me. No way. I don't do crafts or scary movies, turns out. So this is coping with COVID and the fires. We do have a question in the chat from anonymous question about fires and smoke and how you manage that. So we'll get to that in just a minute. Make sure that if you have questions or comments or you want to participate with us, do so in the Q&A or through the chat or through Facebook Live at Mono County Behavioral Health on Facebook. We come to talk to you every other Wednesday. So we'll be back on the 28th of October. I do remember when we last met and I had to say the 14th of October. It seems so far away to me, and whoa, here we are. Like I was thinking, no, we just did this last week. I almost missed it today. So time is going quickly in some ways and not very quickly in other ways. And people with kids are really struggling with the disappointments of things that we're losing and how to just manage what's going on. And then for those of us that live right now in the southern part of the county, there's tremendous smoke, ash, and some worry about the fire, the creek fire blowing up. So Ingrid, did you see that question by chance, the anonymous one in the chat?
I did, and I replied directly to
Okay.
the person who asked, but we'll talk to everybody about it because
Sure.
it is stressful. It's hard to plan your day, being stressed out about the smoke and saying, okay, you know, Saturday I'm going to go hike whatever, and then you can't even breathe because the AQI is 600 and it's literally raining ash, and it messes with your head. It stresses you out. It stresses me out. I am constantly like waking up and looking at my phone. Dude, if you watch me, my shoulders creep up and I have to remind myself to drop them. I'm sleeping like that now. I'm waking up and going, okay,
Yeah.
relax your shoulders, chill out.
Yeah.
But I'm constantly looking at my phone at the error index and looking at maps, satellite maps for fire, and did it grow and did it move and where are things now? And then one thing I really like is Mammoth Mountains Patrol website because it gives you the current weather and it'll tell you which way the wind is blowing. And so I'll look at it and go, oh, yay, northeast wind. I love a northeast wind. I never used to care which direction the wind was coming from, but now I pray for a northeast wind just to blow the smoke back towards the fire so that we can breathe. And it's been mostly a southwest wind. Today it was a northeast wind, so we were able to get out and see things. So if we get to a point like we were, 4 weeks ago when I was totally stressed out about the fire, I will let everybody know. Your phone will blow up. You'll get a message. You know, if you signed up for Code Red, you'll get it all kinds of different ways. But even if you didn't, your phone will still scream at you that it's time to go. And we have management action points where we say, okay, now's when we're going to do this. You're going to see a lot more fire equipment in town of Mammoth. They're bringing resources to this side. And that's good because they can't get to it where it is. It's in really rugged terrain. They're like, why don't you send crews in there? Well, how are they supposed to get there? It's wilderness, literally wilderness. So I get it. We're all stressed out by it. And then 2 weeks ago, I told everybody, go ahead, unpack your cars. You're fine. And now I'm not saying pack your car yet, but you should always be ready, which adds another layer of stress until it snows.
Yeah. So, hey, there's a lot of aircraft at the airport right now. If anybody's driving back and forth, you'll see it. Is that because they're using it to do water drops and retardant drops from this side now? Or is it as what?
I think that's the goal. Mostly it's been so smoky that they can't get eyes on it and they can't fly in those conditions. So like today when it was clear, I did hear a helicopter out there. It's to get eyes on it and see where things are. And then hopefully tomorrow, and maybe we'll find out tonight at this meeting, it's a fair question, I think they're going to put some suppression efforts on it, like some retardant or water or something like that. We have plenty of water. They could just go scoop right out of Crowley and put something on that fire. And it's got a lot of crazy terrain to cover to get here. It's got to go up and down over mountains and through some rocks, and it would take a lot for the fire to get here, but it's an aggressive fire. It's the biggest single fire in California history, and it's been burning for 6 weeks.
Yeah, and I think, you know, one of the things that we're all talking about is when you're in the smoke, you can't get away from it, right? Like at least when you're coping with COVID, or anything else that's going on, you can turn off the television, you can read a book, you can make a candle, you can dress up for Halloween, you can bake, you can, like, there's lots of things you can do to ease your mind, give your mind that break that it needs to just be thinking about something that's either mindless or fun. Yes, is here. So why don't you just carry on without me for a moment?
I love that. Yeah, sometimes the only coping strategy is just to keep moving forward because there's nowhere else to go.
Yeah. One of the comments too, you know, in response we talked about earlier is sort of about the positive cases in Bridgeport and the lack of information. And I think that the 3 points that were made yesterday are important to kind of reiterate, which is that, you know, governmental services will not be impacted or reduced. Law enforcement and public safety will not be compromised, and governmental institutions, the jail, the local schools have not experienced sort of a breakout. And those are the 3 kind of points that I know that the county has released. I know it's not satisfactory information, but it is all that can be said at this point, just based on public health information and HIPAA violation and all of that, right, Sheriff Braun? And just sort of where we're at with that right now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, people totally want to know. It's like when we had, a month or 2 ago in the restaurant sector in Mammoth. People wanted to know what restaurant. So I want to know for my own safety. Should I go there? Should I not go there? But we're so small. You know, we live in a really small town. Everybody knows everybody, and everybody knows everybody's business. If we were to say it was this sector, it's pretty easy to figure out who that is because we are so small, especially just North County in general. I mean, how many people is that? 1,000 people? That doesn't even meet the metrics for what you can identify in HIPAA when you can do a more generic description of
Correct.
what it is. And county-wide, it's hard for us to even meet the metrics. We try without identifying people. And I get it. People want to know for their own safety, for their own curiosity, we want to know what's going on in our communities. But you also have to respect the privacy and the rights of the individuals who are impacted. And that's our job, is to protect their rights. So.
And can I put a pitch in for it doesn't matter?
Yeah.
I mean, unless you want to know because you want to give them some donuts, or I don't like carrot cake either, but really, as long as you're wearing your mask and staying your distance and washing your hands and you know, making really educated decisions about how you're around other people that aren't in your pod, it doesn't really matter who has it or who doesn't, because you don't really know.
I think that's so smart. You know,
Right.
It's the one thing we've talked about from the beginning, you know, from the communication standpoint, has just really been that, you know, employing those public health protocols, because you should just assume that it's everywhere. We don't know where it is and where it isn't.
Right.
Yeah. It's like asking someone, how much do you weigh? And the answer is, why do you want to know?
I mean, I think one of the
that.
things about COVID is, like when Justin just said, you know, you have to assume that everyone has it. I think, oh my God, do I have it? I had a scratchy throat today. You know, it's like, yeah, you have a scratchy throat. You've been sitting in smoke for the last 12 years, it feels like. This is Coping in the COVID World, the new normal, presented to you through Mono County and Mono County Behavioral Health. We do a simulcast through Facebook Live on the Mono County Behavioral Health page. God, that's so much harder to say always. Behavioral, whatever that means. And we meet with you every other Wednesday at 5:30. Tonight we're going to leave a little bit earlier because one of our main panelists that controls all the controls here has to take off a little bit earlier. So do want to invite you to join us next time on the 28th of October, and definitely get your questions in. You can do it through the chat, through the question and answer. You can do it through Facebook Live. You can put something there if you have a question, a concern, an idea, or just like, how are you doing? How are we doing? There's a lot more being written right now about the long-term effects of managing stress in these ways, about how different communities are dealing with COVID, about how to help kids get through these times, about what it might be like if we get another resurgence of COVID, if through the winter once we go inside. And, you know, people are struggling. It is a struggle. But people are also resilient. So I think if we also focus on some of the ways in which we connect with each other and find resilience, find things that we can do to help us feel better, and just chug along. Maybe it's minute by minute, maybe it's day by day, but those things are really important. And I know in the very beginning of this, when we were meeting, we were really encouraging people to go outside. Like, that's the place you can go. Go outside, get your kids outside. You know, you can go easily anywhere around here and not be around people. And that's not so true right this minute because of the smoke. I mean, for a while there, you can go in the forest. Now you can go in the forest, but not very far. So at least down here in the South County. So, you know, like you kind of figure out a rhythm and figure out what you want to do, and, you know, whatever, if you're working or not, what works in your world. And then we have another change. And kind of what Lauren was saying is like, are we going to open or not open? If we open, is that good? And then what if we have to close again? Is that worse? Like, I'm involved in all kinds of conversations about that right now. What is the right thing to do? What are the things that people can tolerate the most? Is it the opening or the closing or the not opening at all, for instance? And, you know, we don't know. We've never been here before. We're just trying to do our best. And I come from a world where the more you talk about it, and just that helps to normalize it, that we're not all feeling individually weird about it. We're all feeling some semblance of the same thing here right now. So please add your questions and your comments. We'd love to hear from you, and take a little pressure off our very small committee tonight. Other people are working. There's some meetings running late.
I like one of the comments
Crazy late.
they added to our point about masking up.
Yay, Christy.
Yeah. Mask up, keep your distance, and mind your business. I like the mind your business. That's a nice mission.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah. Worry about yourself. I got to do something super fun yesterday that I did not think would be super fun, but I had an interview with somebody from the governor's office, actually a panel from the governor's office, because I don't have enough on my plate. So they've asked me to be on a major commission. I'm like, sure, I'll do that. So I put on a suit and I put on makeup and I styled my hair, and I didn't just put on the top part, the Zoom part. I put on the whole suit all the way down to the shoes and everything. It felt so good. I hadn't worn a suit in probably a year, because just with snow season and I hadn't traveled anywhere, it was like, this is really fun. And they weren't dressed up at all. And they're like, wow, you put on a suit. I said, yeah, thank you. I don't even care if I'm on this commission. I'm just happy to put on a suit. They thought it was cute. But made me happy. Christy, you survived.
Hey guys, sorry it's been a long day, but it's really nice to see you all.
It's really nice to see you. We've talked about candles and candy and holidays, but we haven't mentioned cheese. Have you had any good cheese since the last time we had you on?
Good, because I told myself before I signed on, do not bring up food unless it's brought up to you. So yeah.
Oh, it's been brought up plenty already.
Good.
How are you doing?
I love coming in with, I love to hear that Sheriff Braun wore a fancy suit. I love that. Good job.
It was super exciting. It was a new suit too. Christy, I got an email the other day from a wine club that I belong to. I know that shocks you that I belong to a wine club, but to belong to a cheese club for Cowgirl Creamery, if you've ever had their Mount Tam cheese.
I love Mount Tam, and I was recently turned on to their wagon wheel cheese.
Here we go.
Which is
Yeah.
which is like equivalent to like a sharp cheddar, or even like a Ricla. What's the Swiss A raclette. A raclette.
Raclette, yeah.
Raclette. Yeah. So
Yeah.
really good, sharp, like nutty, amazing cheese.
I'm telling you, they have a cheese club.
That is,
Wow.
we were just in Dillon Beach a few weeks ago, and we're gonna hit up Cowgirl on the way home, and it was closed because of the time of the day. But yeah, I know, bad planning.
No. So good. Yeah.
I want tacos delivered to me.
Tacos.
Yeah.
Tacos? I make a mean carne asada. I'll bring you some tacos.
I'll go through
wow.
Taco Bell. I'll go through the drive-thru and bring them.
See how it gets here? Coping with COVID through food. That's what we're going to talk about tonight. Food and candles. How are you doing, Christy? Emotionally, how are you doing with all of everything that's going on? Fires, smoke, COVID, election stress, holidays coming up, the darkness.
Yeah, all of it. Thanks for asking. I appreciate the round table here. I am doing okay, but I think I also just have a tendency to ignore how I'm doing and sort of just push through. You know, it's easy to do when you have a lot of tasks at hand, and there's always a task at hand. So I guess, how am I doing? I don't really know the answer. When I stop and think about it, I'm pretty stressed out. I don't sleep. I'm not sleeping well. I'm actually arguing with a lot of people, which for me tends to be like people who are close to me. That tends to be a sign that something's off kilter. Like my roommates, I'm arguing with them a lot, and my siblings, stuff like that. My neighbors.
Yeah, we get cranky when we're not sleeping well, when we're anxious.
Yeah, cranky. And it's not just me. Like, I've actually made note of this because I was going to bring it up on tonight's thing, that I do sense that people in general are cranky, or just, you know, there's an edge. People are a little edgy. There's an edge there. And I'm totally guilty of it. So, yeah, I'm okay.
Well, and I think, I mean, that's really vulnerable and honest. And I think I wonder, you know, we obviously understand and know that there's this huge political divide right now. And I wonder how much of it is because of the situation and just sort of how we're all feeling, you know?
Yeah, and thank you for bringing that up. One thing that has been weighing on me heavily is this concept of criminalizing political views. And I take issue with this culture that is out there in this, you know, that sort of exists, that we're criminalizing people for having differing views. And as, you know, as intelligent, educated, thoughtful, deliberate thinkers, we ought not to be criminalizing somebody who thinks differently, because that person thinks differently because they have a totally different upbringing, totally different experience, different heritage, different taste of cheese, different whatever it is, right? And so I think that that's, the elections is a big thing. It's definitely, I think, fostering a lot of resentment in people.
There's your stump speech. I loved that.
I've really cut down on my media intake. And, you know, I don't have television, so I don't watch television. It makes me feel really crazy off balance. And so I just haven't forever, in many years. But I do read a lot, and because I feel like it's in my job as a citizen to be informed. You know, I have a government job. I should be informed. And I'm not doing it right now that much. I mean, I have a sense of what's going on, but I wouldn't be able to pass a quiz or anything, because it's just like you're saying, Christy, everything's so contentious. And then you know, that's okay. I can handle people being different and having really different points of view. And especially if they articulate it in a way that's not mean or nasty. It's interesting to me to run into people who think differently than I do. But then if it gets to a point where I start to feel it in my body, and then I go outside and it's smoky, or then I have to go to the post office and do I have my mask on? And like, it's too much. It's just too much. It's making me a different type of citizen, it turns out. I did vote. I will say that.
Oh yeah, I voted too.
I'm so
Lauren?
excited they sent the sticker.
I know.
I got my sticker, and I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna wear it till the voting day, right? But it's interesting. This is the first time that like politics, like within the family, right? Within even my own family, like we can't even touch politics because we get into it, you know, and the opposing sides. And I finally made the decision. I just can't talk politics with family anymore because we're arguing about it, and it might be that edginess, right? That edginess with everything else going on. It's like almost like the last drop, right? So I think one of my fears is which way it goes is how are people going to cope with the results afterwards.
Yeah.
I think that's scary for me because I think people feel so strongly about things, and I think they have a hard time accepting other people's different views.
Yeah, I think that people have a hard time just listening to other people's views. Like, there's this, I think this is true. I think people more often than not talk politics with the intent to share their opinion, period.
Yeah.
But not with the motive or the purpose to either change their opinion or hear someone else's. And I think that, I think it's our duty to listen. We just be good listeners. Just be a good listener and hear what other people have to say.
So we've talked about that before, and people will often ask me, like, what does that mean? And so I use the rule of 3. So Christy, how are you?
And then I have to do the 3 things.
No, you just said, spin around 3 times, cross your eyes. No, just answer the question. Christy, how are you today?
Okay.
Okay. When you say okay, like it's a hard question to answer, right? It's like kind of weird. Like, how are you doing?
Really the answer is like, I don't even know. That's my answer. I don't even know.
Yeah. And how are you sleeping?
Not great.
Yeah.
Up at 3 every night. And then I go back to sleep at 7.
Oh.
Then I sleep till 9.
I'm going to start calling you.
At 8:30.
I'm going to start calling you at 3. So that's just a bad example, but an example of 3 things. So you ask 3 questions about the other person before you start talking about yourself, no matter what they're talking to you about. I'm trying to remember yesterday I called it was about I had a bill for a medical bill. So I called the hospital I couldn't figure out what it was. It didn't say it on the bill. And I said to the woman, how are you doing? She goes, I don't even know how to answer that question anymore. And we had this little conversation about how nobody knows how to answer that question anymore. And that it used to be a kind of like a social gel that you would just kind of ask, and people typically would say, oh, I'm doing all right, or this is going on, or whatever. Yeah, okay. And now people are like, stop. They get stopped. Like, I don't even know what to say, and it's a big change for us. So try the 3s. I'm going to announce what we're doing. You are tuned in to Coping with COVID, and we're going to end around 6:20. So that's 10 minutes from now. If you have a burning question, if you have a burning answer, or you have a burning comment, put it in the Q&A. My dogs are going to bark. There's people on the road. Put it in the Q&A right now, or put it in the chat, or you can put it on our Facebook Live. We do simulcast with Facebook Live on the behavioral health page. You can add your comments there. Invite your friends. We want this to be a community conversation. Oh, come on. You guys got no dead air. Come on.
Oh, no dead air. Okay, so I did also join a champagne club this week. Well, so Sheriff Ron brought up a wine club, and since we already talked about cheese, I joined it. I don't pay anything monthly, but every month, or I guess it's quarterly, you pick 3 from their list, and then you pay for it, and they ship it to you.
I think there are deer outside my window because Nilla is alerting me to something, and she's actually looking at the window. We have about 5 deer that sleep in the empty lot behind our house, and she likes to yell at them and occasionally chase them.
Are there babies?
Funny when one of them
do you have any Bambies there?
No Bambies. No Bambies. One year there was a mama with 2 Bambies, and the mama, like, she charged us. She was protecting those babies. It was pretty cool. Christy, I'm going to start calling you at 3 in the morning because I generally wake up at 3 and look at the clock and go, oh, it's 3. I can go back to sleep.
Yeah, it's
Maybe
like
I'll
3 to
text
4.
you.
Always
Did I say you up?
Oh, interesting. I wake up at 3 and check the smoke to see if I can open my window.
I'm
Yeah.
45.
What time?
12:45.
12:45.
Every night on the dot. That's funny.
For a long time? Do you stay
Yeah.
awake?
Yeah. I feel great. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's for sure going to be 5 a.m. and it's not.
It's not.
Oh.
So interestingly, I used to see this acupuncturist, and he would indicate that based on the time that you wake up, you should, like, it means something, or it says something about some certain organ in your body. Like 3:30 is your liver. There's a liver thing, or 12:45.
So champagne club.
Probably that champagne. Yeah.
That is what that
Or the
means.
wine.
At what time has your body metabolized the sugar and woken you up?
After all that champagne. That's 2:30, I think. That was the 2:30.
You know, there's another theory around grief that if you wake up at the same time at night, that it's a part of the grieving process. And I was going to say, I think we're all really sad right now and scared. And then we get irritated because we're not a society that talks too much about our vulnerability. So we kind of take it out on each other. But I think, you know, if you look at the root of how we're doing, we're disappointed and sad and we're scared. And now that's why nobody wants to look at the holidays. Right now, wouldn't some of you be making plans for family or kind of whatever you happen to eat, like making sure you get it on time, or if you're going to have champagne, finding out Christy's address, stuff like that. You know, like
Everyone's invited.
Yeah, but nobody will come.
And we're just
That's
going to come.
problem.
We're going to come and grab your shipment before you see it.
I know.
Says the sheriff.
That's funny.
So, I mean, I think it's like a weird delayed process all the time because, again, we would lean into these experiences and then we go, oh, I don't know. Can I think about that right now? Like, can I have over the orphans in the Mammoth Lakes area to my house? Will it be safe to all be together? Will we be able to be outside? Will there be snow? Well, you know, like there's all of these variables that we do not have control over. And I think we're up to our wits' end around that kind of thing, which I think, Stephanie, you have a good idea of doing something that you can learn that's new, that you have a beginning, a middle, and an end, like to make a candle, right? You're going to learn something new, and you have something you have something new at the end of the process that you didn't have when you started, that is about your creation. And that seems like a really good idea. Sorry, I interrupted you, Lauren.
Oh, I was just going to say, I think I'm just like mitigating my disappointment a little bit. Like, I'll make plans. I'm not disappointed.
I don't know. I have a guilty confession, you guys. I'm like, this is actually a good reason not to have family over for Christmas. Like, I'm actually going to take a break from it. Like, I'm not so bummed out about it. I know, my kid is, but I'm just, because, we have the new house and, it snows there, and so family they want to come over and have a white Christmas, but now it's like, oh, no, we're not going to go over. And I'm like, yes, like, I just get to spend Christmas with my immediate family. So I am actually really looking forward to just having my husband, my kids, and that's it, and not catering to all these relatives that leave a mess. So I don't know.
There are silver linings out there.
Yeah, there are.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with the
tradition out the window.
Yeah.
Try something different.
Try something different. And I think that also that sort of triggers this thought that I had, which is, I think for most of us for so long, we've been so congested with activity and stimulus and ideas. And now we're forced into a place where we really have to just sit and ruminate with what is around us. We don't have an opportunity to go outside of what is around us immediately. And I mean, it's kind of goes back to this idea that you don't change when you're comfortable. You when you're comfortable and things are easy, you don't grow, maybe. That's my idea, right? So maybe this type of valley that we're in is a growth opportunity. We're all growing. Our characters are building. We are, getting ideas. We're getting stronger. We're building connections with people that I've never even met, Lauren Plum, so, we're building connection that will serve us years to come. And we're actually learning and building skills on how to build new connections virtually and otherwise that we otherwise would never have an opportunity to do. So in terms of silver lining, I mean, it's like with the process of refining gold, it's boiled and boiled and boiled and boiled until it becomes pure. So we're just being boiled.
That's good.
And we're purifying, right?
That's beautiful. No, that's beautiful. I love that. That's very helpful. I want to be mindful of the time because I know Justin has to leave and he's kind of he's got control of our business here. So I want to thank everybody for tonight. I want to thank all of you for listening. I want to thank all of you who will listen later through Facebook Live. This does get recorded. It gets uploaded into the Mono County YouTube channel. Yes, Mono County has a YouTube channel, and it gets recorded and placed on the Mono County Behavioral Health Facebook page. We know that some of you look in later. We really welcome you to join us. If you want to be on the panel, reach out. We're happy to add you to the panel. And also just your questions, your answers, your comments, and just the fact that you're out there in our community means a great deal to all of us. I want to thank all my folks here today that I get to see every other week. This is my favorite thing. We'll be back on the 28th, which seems far away. And just thank you. Any last final thoughts about your boiling and purifying self?
No, thanks.
No. If you want to find out what's going on with the fire, the Sierra National Forest does have a Facebook Live at 7 p.m.
Okay.
on a fire update. So that I'll be watching that one. I'm not a member of that because they broadcast from the other side of the Sierra where they're headquartered for fighting that fire. But for those who are interested in that.
I'm going to try and take Stephanie's advice and find a hobby or something different other than work and COVID to occupy my mind or to focus on. So next meeting, please ask me and hold me accountable.
We should all take the challenge. And next meeting, we should bring whatever it is that we're working on, whether it's reading a book or making candles or making soaps or whatever it is.
Wait, so I missed that. So we have to bring a craft?
Any new thing that you're learning in a craft? Stephanie started with a craft. She's going to be making candles, but there are other things. You could make cheese. You could learn an instrument.
Yeah, something you're learning. I like
a dance move. You can show us a new dance move.
Okay.
Whatever it is.
Okay.
So
Foreign language. Stephanie,
Ingrid, Lauren, Justin, thank you. Always, I really appreciate you all. It's great to see you, and I'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.